in this video, let's learn about more widgets like a container, safe area view, and many other things, or what are the properties that can be done using that widget. So if we could see the screen, what we just did it, we have used the stateless widget, we have rendered it, we are making it run the app, this old widget, and the stateless widget used mainly to track whatever the change, that is like mainly a static data. So inside that we have used material app, and we have made a banner to be false, that it is not been shown. And inside the home we have kept it as cal folder, and inside the cal folder there's a body. We have kept the text called Flutter series by Likita, and you can see it here. The text what we have written, it is quite hidden inside all the notches, or inside the banner from the status, right? The content is not being properly shown to the users. It is the one of the problem, because if you see any Android or any iOS cell phones, the phone's design or architectures are little different. Maybe they have this little notch over there, or maybe they have this small camera thing in between, which might hide the content that we have trying to show them. So to make sure whatever the content we are rendering in the screen, it's not hidden by due to all these notches or the camera view and all, we have to make sure whatever the things we have is enclosed within the save area view. So how can we do that? We just have to remove this text, and inside the body we have to wrap it with the safe area view. And safe area view will have a one property that is called as child. Inside that have to paste the text. So if I hit Control Save, here you can see the Flutter series by Likita, which is like it measures all the width and height. It makes sure it is not hidden in all the notches, and it is like pushes little down, so it is seen to the users. So either you can do this way, and I'll show you one more shortcut for wrapping this whole thing. This is the original thing we had, right? If you take your cursor right here, there'll be a bulb icon that you can see. You can just wrap the widget and just name that widget as a safe area. Clear? You can do that. It's one of the easy or a trick that you can use, so that the content doesn't get merged or it get hidden somewhere, right? Okay. To reformat, one more thing is, right, you can right click, you'll get a reformat this code. It will just reform whole structure of your code. Just hit save. Clear? This all about the safe area view. The next thing we learn is container. Okay. The first suggestion I would give is, always if you want to learn a new widget, or if you are confused what are the property that it has, is just go and check the Flutter docs, because they have given in details about everything. This container has it's like quite like a div. If you're familiar with the web concept, it's like a box. It takes up any content, and it's like a flexible, it's just a box. Container are like a box, and these are like a properties that can be used with that. Okay. So, and what you are seeing, C also is nothing but this container is, these are the widget also used with this container. That's why it's like giving a suggestion for you people to just go through that also. So now let's go back to the code and see how can we use this container. Okay. Now let's remove this text. Instead of text, let's write a container. Hit click. This container takes a child, and let's say, let's do one thing. Let's go back to the docs. What is the first thing? If you could see, there's a definition, etc., etc., and there's one thing that you can see is here, the container with no children, try to be big as possible unless the incoming constraints are unbounded. What does it mean? So we are back in the code. Inside this container, we can add a color. So let's give a color called a red. Hit save. See here, the container now is without a child. What do you mean without a child is it does not contain anything. So if it doesn't have any child, what it does, it just takes up the whole length, whole width and height. This is what they mean when they said it will be as big as possible. This is what they meant. I think you got the concept. So let's try to put a child inside this tail. Let's paste the this text one. Let's save this. See, if you could see now how much is the length or the width of the text. It is just occupying that much. So if there is no child, it is trying to cover the whole height and width of the scaffolder. Now it is just taking the height and width of the child component that we have given. Okay, and if you want to change the color of this text, we know there's a property called text. Inside that, it takes a property called text is child, where I can just make this a little format. Okay, inside this, if I want to make it color, I can hit control space. I'll get a few properties. I want a color, and I can just write a white, and you'll get suggestions. You can hit on that suggestion and you can make that as color white. See, you can see that color. Fine. Okay, the next thing is, let's say I want a container. Now the container is just getting attached, or it is just of height and width of how much the content is there, right? So let's write, I want to change the height and width according to my things. Let's say I want to make this height a little longer, like 100. If I hit save, it will just become a long. Next, width, let's change it to 150, which will be little small, or it could be, let's make it 250 or 350, which it should be little large. Yeah, now it's good. So this is the one thing I can do. And what are the other property I can use it on the container? If I click on control space, there's something called a padding. Padding is nothing but inside this container you're giving a padding that is nothing but for this text. So let's see how do we give a padding. If I hit on padding, so padding takes one thing that is called, if I just hover on this, it takes something called a edge inside geometry, that is like a padding. Okay, if I type the same thing, that is edge insights dot, there's few things that I can apply or use it on, like example 0, all, symmetric and only. These are the 4 things I can use it on the edge inside. 0 is you're just making the padding as 0. All is for all side you are giving one value, like a 10. On all side you are giving it as 10. If you could see here, there's a padding right here. Or you can just give it for the symmetry. Symmetry is nothing but a vertical and horizontal. You can give a symmetry, that is to the vertical and horizontal you can give for the 2 sides. So let's say in the vertical let it be 10, and towards the horizontal let it be 20. If I say that 20 on the side and on the top and bottom, it will be 10. Okay, and I have also one more property called only, which means it is particularly on the 4 sides and you can give any number. It takes the left, right, top. Let's say on the top I want only for the top like a 50. If I hit save, it will be like this, or let's say 30, it will be in the center. And let's give one more that is towards the left side as a 20. It should be right in the between. So this is how you give a padding. And we also have one more thing called a margin. Margin is nothing but the outside of this box. You're giving a margin towards like outside of this child component. So if I hit on the margin and if I try to hover on it, you can see a property called edge inside geometry, which takes a widget called edge insights again. On this again, there are the 4 things that you have seen right now, that is only, symmetric, all, etc. Let's give only, that is means one value to all 4 sides. Let's give 50 and see how it will be. It will be taken, the only should be only used on like a top, bottom, left. It's like particular. Let's not use only, we'll use all. Let's use all and give 50. Now it is here. Clear? This how you have this this how you use this margin. And there's like many things like a decoration, chip behavior, alignment, constraint, key, transform. As you go in the further classes you will learn, but decoration, it takes, okay, this decoration, it takes a box decoration, and inside that, see, there are few more property, like you are basically decorating the box. Okay, you can give a color, you can give a border radius. Border radius is nothing but you're just making this sharp edges into rounded corners, and you're giving shadow, gradient, shape. It can be anything. Okay, so if you're giving color, make sure whatever color you have given, it should be inside here. Okay, you can't give two times a color. If I try to do that, if I try to give a color here also, and if I try to give it a blue or something, I'll get an error because you can't give a colors two times. Either you have to remove this or that. So make sure you are not doing that. Just hit Control Save. Okay, now it's back. So here let's give a border radius. The border radius, it takes a border radius widget dot, and it has many things like only or a directional to. So we'll use only, which will have what are the four sides you want to give, or if you don't want only, you can just use all, and to all the sides I just want a 10, and the 10 should be written in the radius dot circular then 10. I mean, you're just saying that radius should be 10. Okay, I think you're clear with it. You're just making a little border radius. So a container is nothing but like a box which takes up a background color and like little decoration to it, padding, margin, and a little child. And if there is no child to container, it is going to occupy the whole space. That's all for the container. Do practice many things, like trying to build like a container, give some spacing, or trying to put many children inside that container. In the next video, let's learn about some layout stuff. That is nothing but a row and column. Designing a layout is very important when you start designing for apps. See you in the next video.